we weren't always the smartest, but
No.
we were after speed, right? Just wasn't fast enough.
Yeah.
The only way we knew how to go faster was to reduce the friction, right?
Yeah, that's
take
right.
the chain off, take the brakes off. I remember halfway down the mountain thinking, oh, crap. Hey, Dennis, what's the dumbest thing you've ever done?
I've done a lot of dumb things. You know that.
That's true.
Growing up like we did. But one of them was when we decided we weren't going fast enough down the chat piles on bicycles because we were constrained by chains and brakes and things like that. Yeah. So when we took that one and took your bike and took it up and took the chain off and we were going to weld it, decided that was not a good idea because that would...
That would have killed me.
Yeah.
Would have killed me.
Yeah. So came up with the idea, let's use the hose clamps and just clamp them.
I think that was Marlon's idea to use the hose clamps.
So if we clamp the pedals horizontal, that's got you a platform to stand on and you can lean forward like the downhill ski racers did.
Yeah, kind of one foot back behind the other.
And so, I don't know what we were thinking, taking a bike, to the top of a 20-story hill, chat pile and rocketing down that thing. But
we weren't thinking. That's what was important.
That's true.
We weren't doing.
But that was one. And then, no telling where you're going to end up because at the bottom of that chat pile, there's rock piles, and then there's ponds.
Remember that pond?
Yeah, railroad tracks, all sorts of stuff down there. So, and then people would use those things to dump their trash and things like that. And so, no telling what you might end up in if you had no brakes. But
got all the way to the top of the mountain, and then nobody wanted to go.
Yeah, right.
It's a great idea until we got there.
You go, no, it's your bike. I don't want to crash your bike.
Yeah, I don't know how I ever agreed to do that.
Right,
but
that was that one was a lot of fun, a lot of memories off of that one. The groups that we all grew up with, everybody had a dumb idea. It seemed like we just always. For some reason, one of us were always the test pilot.
Yeah,
let's put it there.
Yeah, one dumb idea after another, but man, what a childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you remember making that grappling hook to get that bike out of the pond?
Oh yeah. That was, and that slime on that pond was legendary.
That smelled. Yeah, that was bad, like rotten eggs.
And it was a quarter of an inch thick and had bubbles in it and pond scum and frog eggs.
Water moccasins all the way around it. Yeah, that was
right.
Yeah. I still have nightmares about that.
Yeah. And just it went in and it was like, well, we lost that bike. And then it was like, Dad'll kill us if we don't get that thing out.
Yeah. So. It didn't take Dad long. Eric, where's your bike? Well, Dad, it's around here somewhere. I must have left it at Barry's house. We'll find it.
Right. And so we got those pieces of rebar and an old hay hook, and I don't even remember what else we got.
Oh, that rope off Dad's anchor.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy about that.
Welded it all together. Dad had that homemade welder that he bought from like the NEO electrical class or something.
That thing shot sparks when you turned it on.
Yeah, and if you didn't put the wood block under it, it would shock you if you were standing on damp concrete. Yeah. So it's amazing we made it out.
I don't know how we ever did.
But, I don't know. It took over half a dozen casts with that big grappling hook on that rope to drag the bike out. And then when it came out, it looked like something off of some horror movie coming out of there dripping and hanging. And
nobody wanted to ride it home.
No. And that was
banana
before
seat squished when you sat down on it.
Right. And that was before power washers. So you just took it home and sprayed it down with the garden hose and tried to get all the stuff off of it. That was nasty.
Yeah, that was nasty. Mom wondered what all that moss was on my jean shorts.
Yeah. Lucky you didn't go in with it, though.
Yeah. Well, at least I was far enough to bail off at the top of the sand dune, or I was headed in with it.
Right.
Yeah. Remember that pond was the pond where the twins died. Mm-hmm. Diving down into those old cars. And I still remember the day when those, sirens were going off and the ambulance and the fire truck, and they were trying to get those brothers out of that pond. Yeah. That made it even more terrifying. When I came down the hill, hit the top of that dune, and I'm looking, and there's nothing but pond in front of me. Right. All I could think about in that second was those twins.
Yeah.
And didn't take long for me to bail off midair.
Right. And
we'd already thinking about where the bike was going.
Right. And we'd already been threatened if we even went swimming in those ponds or anywhere near those ponds.
Yeah.
We were in trouble after that.
Don't go anywhere near that pond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old days. Great memories. Lots of dumb stuff, but that's pretty high up on the list.
Yeah. And then I do remember after we get your bike all cleaned up, took the hose clamps off and everything and got the chain all back on it. We could hear you coming because it squeaked. Everything on it squeaked. The front wheel, the back wheel, the pedals. I
still remember when we pulled it out of the pond, your famous words, "We're going to need a lot of WD-40.
And I don't think it worked. It'll usually work for anything.
I don't know how much we used, but it wasn't enough.
No, but we got that one. Got it put back together and, rode into the sunset on it.
Lived to tell another story.
Right.
To, climb another hill. Yeah, those were the good old days.
Yeah. So that was one of them. And you learn kind of, every once in a while in life you need breaks.
Yeah.
They're there for a reason.
They are there for a reason. Yeah. Well, we weren't always the smartest, but
No.
we were after speed, right? Just wasn't fast enough.
Yeah.
The only way we knew how to go faster was to reduce the friction, right?
Yeah, that's
take
right.
the chain off, take the brakes off. I remember halfway down the mountain thinking, "Oh crap." Now what?
And it wasn't like we were on a nice smooth ramp.
No.
Like Evel Knievel. We were flying down bumpy road or bumpy gravel with potholes and
just praying you didn't hit one of those crevices and go head over heels and eat chat.
Right.
That happened plenty of times.
Yeah. How many times would we soak in the bathtub to get the
chat, the embedded chat out of our knees?
Elbows and knees and backside and whatever else. Just, stay there and soak until that all comes out.
Yeah, more than once. Yeah, you know what? We would never let our kids do that today.
No. Well, I can remember Cody was a youngster and, we caught him riding his bike without his helmet. And I remember, it was like, get your helmet on, how, and think back, I don't know that bike helmets had even been invented yet. And if they had, we didn't use them. And
we had that old Bell helmet, the motorcycle helmet, remember?
Right.
We didn't want to wear that.
No.
That would have slowed us down.
Right. But yeah, so it's amazing. All of the safety things that are around now that
knee pads, elbow pads, training wheels. We wouldn't let them out of the driveway now.
Right. And you worry about them all the time. It's like, oh, well, if they fall, they might get hurt and things like that. But then when you see one of them rebel, like when Cody said, "I don't need a helmet," and he takes off riding, it's like, okay, I know where he got that.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit proud that he's adventurous enough and rebellious enough to say, I don't want that. Hopefully he doesn't do that for the rest of his life. But in those times you see him, you go, that's okay. I can't complain because if they were able to see what we did as kids, we would never live it down.
Yeah, and they remind us of that too. Remember when we were telling those stories around the dinner table with Mom and Dad's house after Christmas or something, and we'd tell these stories and, Cody and Zach would be sitting over there all wide-eyed, and then we realized, oh, what have we done?
Yeah,
we told them all these stories that we would never let them do.
Right.
And they reminded us of it later, too. Yeah. Hey, remember when?
Yeah. Well, you said you did this as a kid. Well, that was different. I don't know what was different, but that was different.
Yeah, that was us. That's not you. Yeah. You can't get away with that.
Right.
Well, thanks for letting me share all those stories in Barefoot and Bulletproof. It was a lot of fun writing that book and remembering all those stories and, thinking about the stories that haven't been recorded and were lost, and remembering when we sat and listened to Granddad Ben tell all those stories and how animated he was with his storytelling. And I would give anything to have written those down and preserved those and recorded some of those. And, Dad's stories too. Dad wasn't as grand a storyteller as Granddad Ben was, but he certainly had his share of stories. And, there's just so many families that are losing precious memories today. And, I just am thrilled that, you've been supportive and encouraging and have shared your own stories. Even, today, as we've prepared, to have this conversation, we've talked about news stories that didn't make it into the book. Right. And, who knows, maybe there'll be a follow-up to it someday. But, it's just been so good to reflect on those great days, growing up in Picher, what it was like to grow up in the most toxic town in America that some people say, but it was our playground.
It was our playground. We didn't know any different.
We didn't, and it was just great memories, and reliving those. There's just so many families that don't have their memories written down either. So I've tried through this book to encourage others to write them down, and call it the ROAR movement, resisting oblivion and amplifying remembrance, so that people can capture their memories before it's too late, like it is for some of our memories.
Right. And with modern technology, sit down with your elders and record them. We all have a recorder in our hands, record the conversation. We didn't have that when Granddad Ben or even when Dad, as much as we should have. And like you said, if we would have written those down, we could have shared those. And that's why you're doing what you're doing. And I am so gracious that you're doing what you're doing, because my kids have heard these stories, but my grandkids haven't all.
Yeah.
And who knows, with the family history that we have, hopefully we don't either one lose our memories, but you might.
Well,
and we
odds
might.
are,
I might. Yeah.
Right. Third, 3 generations prior to us, dealt with Alzheimer's, dementia. Great grandfather, our granddad Ben, our dad. Yeah. So, it's likely going to happen to one of us. Right. So the more we can get them down on paper, the more we can get them passed along. I've got 6 grandsons, you've got 4 grandchildren, and we want those stories to stay alive and survive and be told generations from now. Right. And, we're not alone. No. We're not the only family facing this in America. There are 50 million worldwide that are dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia in their family, either themselves or as a caregiver. And I can't thank you and Sherry enough for all the great care you gave Dad as he dealt with Lewy body dementia. So my encouragement to others when they ask me, what do you want people to take away from Barefoot and Bulletproof? And I want them to write their stories down. Right. Maybe they're not all comfortable writing a memoir the way that I have, but they can write them down. They can record them. They can record them on video, use their iPhones or whatever, and capture those memories for generations to come. Right.
And cherish those. And that's something that, we hand down, and if we're not here to hand it down, at least it's here to be handed down. Yeah. And so I think that's great to have that. And how much fun have we had reliving these and retelling these, and
they get better every time I tell them.
They do. There's a little bit of embellishment, but not a lot. Most of it's true.
For those that want to join in on the conversation, here's how they can do it. They can go to chatrackchronicles.com and join us there. They can subscribe to our newsletter. Right. They can comment. They can share the post, share the website with others. And, we hope they'll ask these kinds of questions with their family too. Yeah. Like, what is the most memorable story? What's the craziest thing you've ever done? What's the toy that you lost that you longed for? Things like that.
And everybody out there's got those stories.
Everybody has stories.
Because as I've told people that you're writing this, people want to share their stories with me. And hey, when we were growing up, we did this. And so it's a great opportunity for them to get involved and write those down.
Many have. You can go to our website. You can go to our social media links, which are on the website, and you can see the community that's building around the ROAR movement as people are sharing their own stories. They're sharing them in snippets. Some are sharing full stories about their family, and that's what we're trying to encourage, is to get them to participate with us, to come alongside and share their own story. Right. Because sharing our stories is fun, and people laugh and they enjoy them. Right. But we want it to be a benefit to them as well. We're hoping they'll follow our lead and begin to preserve their stories too.
Right. And ours happened in a tiny little town that was toxic But these same stories happen in big cities, in suburbs, in neighborhoods, boroughs, things like that. And everybody has those stories.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a great opportunity for people to share. And I hope they do.
I got an email or comment just recently from a guy that grew up in Iowa, and they grew up farming, and they didn't have BB gun wars like we did, but they threw dirt clods at each other.
There you go.
So everybody has stories, right? And so we are encouraging people. Hopefully they'll join in and share their stories too.